Hello and welcome to Iron Port. It is proudly brought to you by West Blue Consulting, Ghana Oil Company Limited, and Ghana Community Network Services, GCNet. Media partner is the Business and Financial Times. And people, this week we are coming to you live from the Nagode Park. That's how we call this area. And behind me, that truck over there, this particular truck, as well as the black Jaguar you see there, I will be telling you something important about it very, very shortly. In the meantime, though, the World Bank has released its 2019 Ease of Doing Business report, and Ghana is now ranking 114, whilst we used to rank 120 in the past. Let me remind you, though, Kenya is ranked 61.
Ghana has improved in the ranking on the ease of doing business, according to the World Bank Group 2019 Doing Business Reports. The report, titled Training for Reform, was released on Wednesday, 24th October 2018. In the latest report, Ghana has improved its ranking to 114 out of 190 economies, up 6 places from 120 in the 2018 Doing Business Report. Ghana's ease of doing business score, formerly called Distance to the Frontier, has increased by 2.06 to 59.22. Doing Business 2019 is the 16th in a series of annual reports investigating the regulations that enhance business activities and those that constrain it. Ghana's progress reflects reforms in 3 key areas. First, the government has made it easier to trade across borders by implementing a paperless customs clearance processing system. Secondly, government has made it easier to deal with construction permits by strengthening construction quality control by imposing stricter qualification requirements for professionals in charge of technical inspections. Thirdly, the government has made it easier to pay taxes by allowing financial losses to be fully carried forward during any of the following 5 years of assessment. Henry Kerali, Country Director, World Bank Ghana, said it is encouraging to see that progress is being made to improve the business environment to promote investment by both domestic and foreign firms, so necessary to spur growth, provide jobs, and further reduce poverty.
So that's the World Bank report on ease of doing business for 2019. They always report ahead of time. So we have moved from the 120th country to 114th country. We've done better relatively, about 6 difference it is. We've been able to move up. However, people feel that we can do a lot better, considering the fact that Kenya is number 61 out of that 190 countries that the World Bank ranked. So a number of organizations have begun to have conversations on how to improve business, doing business in Ghana, so that we can be ranked better. One of them is the Association of Custom House Agents of Ghana. They have been discussing some of the policies that are being implemented to make sure that we have better means of doing business in our country.
The Association of Customs House Agents of Ghana, ACHAG, has organized a training seminar for its members to educate them on standard practices in freight forwarding and new policies introduced by government. ACHAG, with the help of research experts from Customs and West Blue, trained members in new government programs rolled out for trade facilitation and revenue generation interventions such as the CTN, the ECOWAS tariffs, and the use of HS code.
So we felt that most of our members are not very conversant with these things, or some of them might not have even been aware of the technicalities governing these HS codes. So we brought them together and we were able to bring some resources persons through from Customs and from West Blue, and together we all sat down, had some discussions on the HS code, and it's been intriguing, it's been a wonderful experience, and it's something that will really help us in our day-to-day operations as freight forwarders.
The president of ACHAG, Yao Che, said some members are not up to speed with technicalities of new conventions. Therefore, it was important to organize such a seminar so as to aid the performance of their duties.
When we talk about trade facilitation, the role that they play is very significant. So when programs like this are organized, it assists them to be able to make an important classification decision.
A classification researcher, Robert Adomode, said the training exercise enabled the members acquire the technical know-how on the issues of classification of goods. Members expressed excitement over the training program.
So aside ACHAG, another very important and quite popular organization that's been fighting for policy as well as educating people on policies, best policies to improve country, is the IMANI Ghana as well as IMANI Africa. The actually continental IMANI Ghana has held a forum to discuss some of the policies that are being implemented around the ports, trade, to ensure ease of doing business. They have been discussing how to balance trade facilitation as well as revenue generation between government and business people.
IMANI Ghana, a think tank organization that applies independent critical analysis to policies and other pertinent issues across various disciplines affecting the Ghanaian economy, has held a stakeholders forum on finding the balance between trade facilitation and revenue mobilization in the Ghanaian trade and maritime landscape. The president of IMANI Ghana, Franklin Kujo, said the forum is an honest, open and high-level platform for stakeholders to discuss and suggest practical solutions to emerging factors and challenges affecting port efficiency and revenue mobilization in Ghana.
I am very positive that this gathering would have very diligent, should I say, rather very interesting conversations that are solutions driven.
The forum, which brought together major players and participants in Ghana's trade and maritime sector, delved into two critical issues: paperless port and cargo tracking nodes that are being implemented. In the first session, bordering on CTN, representatives from the major stakeholder institutions leveled up their arguments for or against the implementation of the CTN policy with trade facilitation and revenue mobilization in focus. The president of GIF, Kwabna Ofosu-Appiah, opposed the popular notion that freight forwarders are resisting the implementation of the CTN because it would expose the alleged fraudulent business, but instead raised concerns that customs systems do not integrate with others worldwide, among others.
The Trade Facilitation Agreement, Ghana ratified it in 2017. It is now an international treaty. It has certain conditions that you must meet as a member. These were some of the questions that we brought to the fore. These were some of the answers that we demanded of these interventions. The answers did not come.
Samson Asaki, Executive Secretary of the Importers and Exporters Association, opined that the CTN is a duplication of the current pass under the Trade Facilitation Agreement by the Ghana government.
The current pass has the same tool in place and the current work going on under the Trade Facilitation Agreement, of which Parliament of Ghana rectified on the 4th of January 2017.
QBAC Secretary Nicholas Osai said the CTN policy is an innovative intervention poised to block revenue leakages and create a secure trade chain. He said QBAC has thought it through and stand by GRA for its implementation.
The CTN issue, together with the paperless system, has come to wipe out wastes and blocked all loopholes in the clearance procedures.
A Chief Revenue Officer of the Customs Division of GRA, Bismarck Kisi, said CTN has commenced implementation and will undergo much more enhancements per the vision for which it was introduced.
Once CTN is in, it reinforces or re-emphasizes all that is the TFA and the customs valuation agreement that we have in place.
However, some stakeholders shared some concerns on how the CTN could be improved. On the paperless ports, GCNet said it has been able to integrate its systems with all relevant institutions to ensure all processes are seamless.
We are among the first countries in Africa to start single window issues. We started in 2000 as part of the Gateway project, which brought about Ghana Community Network. And as the name indicated, it was supposed to be a community of all people involved in the import business. So everybody was to be brought on board.
The representatives of freight forwarders assessed the paperless clearance process as an efficient one, saying it has helped improve various aspects of the clearance chain. President of the Association of Customs House Agents of Ghana, Yao Che, urged members of the freight forwarding fraternity to work with integrity to instill trust in the system.
I must
use this opportunity to advise the freight forwarders also to help and cooperate with the system to make it better.
President of GIF, Kwabena Ofosu-Appiah, said there is a need for a revised governance structure to optimize the paperless process. A chief revenue officer of the Customs Division of GRA, Bismarck Kisi, revealed that customs are working intensively to ensure that bottlenecks in the examination processes causing delays are solved.
Undoubtedly, if you ever find yourself in such forums, you come to the conclusion that we still haven't settled as a country regarding the way to go, the best policies, overarching policies that should be able to drive our businesses to see tremendous improvement in ease of doing business. So I sat down with the president of IMANI Africa as well as IMANI Ghana, Franklin Kujo, to find out about what he makes of some of the policies that have been thrown out within the port and maritime trade in ensuring trade facilitation as well as balancing that against government generating revenue. So you held this forum that's supposed to analyze some of the policies that are having influence on the port's activities. Just around the same period, we have the World Bank Ease of Doing Business coming in, and here we've improved by 6%. Tying in with your agenda to have conversation on the ports, what do you make of this release, particularly the indices?
Of particular interest to me was the overall performance of Ghana on the index. As you know, the index is made up of about 10 or 11 indices, and trading across borders, paying a tax, construction permits, insolvency, issues around how easy it is to acquire property. These are very fundamental and they are useful. But for us in Ghana, because the government is fixated on accruing a lot of revenue or mobilizing a lot of revenue from the port, we were particularly interested in just that indicator within the ease of doing business index. And as you realize, it's not so favorable to us. I mean, we were 120th in 2015, 171 in 2016, 158 in 2018, 158 in 2017, 156 in 2018, and for 2019 is 154. So we should be grateful for small messes, but I don't think that we are out of the woods yet, which speaks to the systems we put in place. Over the course of this program that we just held, there was a lot of revelation about the way, even though technology should be aiding and making the process far easier for us, there's still the human element, which ought to be looked at critically. And I think that there are too many disconcerting programs and policies within the port enclave that ought to be clarified. Of CTN, there were almost split decisions, split arguments as to whether we needed it or not. And I'm very much convinced after this program that the CTN is actually superfluous. Yeah. It's not an entity that is needed, because something that cannot be something that has no connection to the whole integral process of ensuring the integrity
of data and all that.
And all of that. So for me, I think there's still a lot of work to be done. And we decided to be part of this conversation only because we feel that Ghana's international image out there when it comes to trade facilitation is not particularly great. It is a good thing to think about revenue, but it looks to me that we are overly fixated on mobilizing revenue to the detriment of facilitating systems that would make sure that the stakeholders within the port system themselves at least have a very free approach or free ways of dealing with their own enterprise. And I think these are issues that you particularly have been outdooring a lot on your program, and we are just part of the conversation to make sure that at least we bring it a notch higher.
Now there's a subject that you tackled today, the paperless, and the outcomes that you had, the fact that people are lauding the cost. Do you think that it deserves the applause that it's getting?
Well, if the very actors within the space are acknowledging that there have been some steps, however small they are, I think we should be grateful. I think it is important to to singularly praise if it is important, offer rare praise if it is the case, but much more important is the way the process itself has to evolve. Because from what I heard today, my understanding was that even those who were critical of the process earlier are beginning to, acknowledge the fact that this is a useful system. Yeah. We need to perfect it. As I said a while, not long ago, the human element is still a significant factor we've got to deal with. In other places, in other lands, you don't even hear the challenges we face here. There are still some significant steps to go, but overall, I think I can give the paperless pot system at least a 55% mark. I mean, from the things I've observed and heard.
And you are looking at the remaining 45 should be what that should be tackled?
Well, you see, if I keep hearing that there isn't any clarity on how exactly CTN should be part of the process, if I keep hearing exactly that, well, listen, the fees themselves are suspect. There's an issue about miscellaneous. I mean, you related to that. There are all kinds of actors within the space who must be cleared out of the system, but are still integral and part and parcel of the system. Yeah. It looks to me that we having the integrity process for the entire paperless system itself hasn't been exhausted. So I think there's still some mileage to go.
You deal a lot with policy and policy education and so on. How do you assess the way policies are introduced into the port environment? Now, not long ago we had a single window, we had a CTN, we had paperless. Some get to feel that it appears that we just throw policies in as and when we feel it's required, and there is no sort of overarching policy where we all derive what should be done and what should be done out of. Are we throwing too much into the system without knowing exactly what we're doing?
As you realize, any activity that brings in significant amount of money in an African country, and I use African country here advisedly, there are few African countries that are doing things sensibly. But in many African countries, any activity which brings significant revenue to the state is an avenue for politicians to cook scams, cook contradictory policies. And that has been our undoing severally. So I'm not surprised at all that most of the projects you hear about could be traced to individuals within the political space. Otherwise, how else could it be the case that in a government that is supposedly organized, that is coherent, that is logically thinking along the same lines like you and I are thinking in terms of revenue mobilization and cost efficiency, the last of complaints we should be hearing is to have discordant policies flying and projects, programs that are not necessarily unique in themselves, but become a panoply of bureaucratic layers, and I don't think that is useful at all.
Do you think it is late, it's too late to have a comprehensive policy for the port? Are we throwing them out there one after the other just because we feel that, now it looks like we don't even have time to have a comprehensive one?
Your question makes me sad because it's as if we are in this continuous, orbit of incoherence. It appears to me that you probably know something I don't know. That there's likely to be the introduction of many more.
Of course, I mean,
but that's the point. We see something here, then we run and plaster it. It's like the band-aid approach. Which brings me to the issue about having a design thinking process. What is it that you want to achieve? What is your optimal aim, if you like, objective of having a port system that should return value, that could be competitive as well? If port authorities haven't asked themselves this critical question, then my suspicion is that the floodgates are yet to be opened for many more standalone policies that may not necessarily speak to the should I call it, the efficiency of the system.
What would you advise in the area of this ports and maritime trade? Because there's a lot that it appears to me that people think they know, or people I think have come to the realization that the port is key if we need to develop. But it also appears to me that little is
done or little attention is paid.
Maybe we should learn from the habits of highly effective countries. When you started this program, you mentioned something I didn't mention, that Kenya was ranked 61st.
Yeah.
Right? And we are ranked 114. We should ask ourselves, why Mombasa, all those areas within Kenya, the port, they all have ports, don't they? Why are they more efficient than us? We should just go and learn the habits of highly effective countries. I mean, that's the only thing that we can do.
It is our hope that policymakers and implementers will continue to do better to help us improve ease of doing business in our country. In the meantime, I talked to you about that black Jaguar, that truck, and the other truck as well. This one contains tin tomatoes, all of it in there. Also car batteries in that particular one. And then we are told that the owner of the black Jaguar is a businessman who was diverting these goods in those trucks into the Ghanaian market, although he had already said that it was supposed to go into some transit country. Before then, it was at the customs bonded warehouse. National security says they are going to be wild every corner. They are not going to let this happen again. They are clamping down on those diverting goods that are meant for the transit countries, now finally end up in the Ghanaian market.
National security has arrested 3 trucks that they believe were being diverted into the Ghanaian market after being allowed to leave the customs bonded warehouse without any documentation and tracking device. The first truck contained tomato paste, the second contained car batteries, while the third contained sugar. The National Security Coordinator for Temaport, Sub-Lieutenant Christian Kofi Tete, lamented that huge revenues are lost by the state as a result of diversion of cargoes from warehousing.
Government is losing billions in this warehousing thing. And some of us, we cannot sit because national security duties also is to make sure that revenue is not lost. And this can be done through checking of misdescription of goods, and then on that declaration, and then diversion.
He said national security investigations have revealed that some people are abusing the warehousing system by not attaching an electronic device to the trucks which will aid tracking purposes by the national security. The driver of the truck admitted that he was sent out by the agents and the owner of the goods without any documentation.
My documents they could announce one family. Friends agent documents could announce one family.
They also admitted that the tracking device had been removed before they set off.
Me want to say car black one be abapako na nimpa tinti obaku so tia we see if you can na o ma bana car no as na track ball na car no mu track no.
The National Security Coordinator said the customs officer who failed in his responsibility to ensure that the tracking devices and the necessary documentations were procured will be made to face the full rigors of the law.
If the resident officer who is to oversee this leaves the scene for reasons best known to him and no device is on, then he should be charged for all the infractions that are going on there. And it's not today. Severally they do it. We have documentation of them and we will chase them and fish them out.
Iron Pod returns after the break.
Hello. Good morning. This is Samantha Wendy. I am sending a purchase order from SA2 Ventures International. Our policy for new supplies is 2 containers to start with, but you must deliver within 30 days.
Don't worry at all. I'm going to get you the 4 containers within 30 days or less.
To get his pineapple slices from his country to his clients overseas, Mr. Appiah and his representatives have to complete a number of regulatory compliance procedures to various international trade stakeholders.
Hey, Baba, what's going on? Get it right? I mean, how?
Using single window, Mr. Appiah has completed all his international trade procedures through one portal. He has registered his company information, applied for the necessary permit, certificates and licenses, and all that remains is for him to get a text alert for clearance and movement of goods. And that's how simple facilitating international trade could be in a single window environment. You can offer competitive services to your trading partners in China, America, even here in a simpler, faster, and cost-effective way. Single window, the only way to Ghana's economic growth is in our hands.
Here's innovation from Goyle that takes you further. New Goyle Super Synthetic 5W20 and 5W30 lubes have been expertly crafted with the latest in liquid engineering technology, highly advanced for modern engines, prolongs oil change intervals, save you fuel, clean, protect and enhance engine performance. The way engines work has become complex, and Goyle has innovated to stay ahead. Expertly crafted lubricants that work excellently with all petrol and diesel engines of today. New Goyle Super Synthetic 5W20 and 5W30 lubes. Innovation that takes you further. Goyle. Good energy.
Other news and activities around the port next.
The Director General of the Ghana Maritime Authority, Kwame Owusu, has disclosed that in line with the authority's mandate of overseeing the affairs of the waters of the country, it will soon take delivery of 7 patrol, search and rescue vessels. According to him, the vessels, which would be acquired through internally generated funds, will arrive on 28 November 2018 to boost the operations of the Ghana Maritime Authority.
Some vessels are here, but by the 28th of November, we would have acquired internally generated funds, 7 patrol and search and rescue vessels.
Kwame Owusu, who made this known during a press conference to set the record straight following some allegations that were leveled against him, revealed those allegations should be treated with contempt that it deserves.
I am alleged to have acquired a $2 million land, or 2 pieces of land in East Legon. That must be quite a sizable property.
He stated that the vessel's traffic information management system, which is a critical equipment that gives access to the Ghana Navy to oversee all waters of Ghana, has been serviced to boost their operations.
When we took over this organization, we have had what we call our surveillance equipment, and for you media people, especially probably the eye on port, you know the BTMIS. This in 2012 that we put it together, 2014 that was commissioned, it has never been serviced. We had problems. We couldn't see things. The Navy was complaining. When I took over, it didn't take me 3 months.
He said the authority has been removing tree stumps in the Volta Lake to minimize the spate of accidents on the lake as part of its corporate social responsibilities.
Our first base alone is about 4 million, which, as part of our social responsibility, that we have paid, cash down, has been removed, and we are planning different phases.
Kwame Owusu said the authority was able to generate a total revenue of 100 million Ghana cedis in 2017 and made a profit of 43 million Ghana cedis same year for the first time. He revealed that the authority will for the first time pay 8 million cedis dividend to government.
The leading oil marketing company in Ghana, Goyle, has launched a mouth-watering promotion dubbed Efie Nifie to reward its cherished customers for their unflinching support in securing Goyle's position as the #1 oil marketing company in Ghana. Goyle was recently adjudged the CIMG Petroleum Company of the Year, a feat they have achieved for 3 consecutive years. At the launch of the nationwide promotion, the company's Chief Operating Officer, Alex Adieu, announced that about 1 million rewards comprising 918,420 items will be given out as instant rewards, and the rest in the form of tantalizing ultimate rewards.
Goyle wants to share in our achievements by bringing more excitement to our valued customer base. The Efie Nifie promotion, which will run till January 2019, will be one with a difference.
The board chairman of GOIL, Kwame Nabatels, entreated fuel consumers to be associated with the Efie promo because it is an instant rewarding effort, and added that customers of GOIL will benefit tremendously.
This promo is looking forward to awarding about 1 million customers who will be handed prizes and awards instantly.
Explaining the Efie promo, the head of fuel and marketing, Marcus De Dake, said the promotion, which starts now to January 2019, is targeted at all customers, commercial, private vehicle drivers and motor riders. To participate, every purchase of 80 Ghana cedis worth of fuel and above for vehicles of 50 Ghana cedis for motorbikes and tricycles will be given a scratch card to enter the promo for a reward, which will be instantly given at the GOIL service station purchased from.
We have about 1 million items available, to be given out to all participants.
International news next. The International Maritime Organization IMO has adopted an action plan which aims to enhance existing regulations and introduce new supporting measures to reduce marine plastic litter from ships. The action plan stipulates actions to be completed by 2025 which relate to all ships, including fishing vessels. The concrete measures and details will be further considered by MEPC 74. Meanwhile, a group of armed pirates have attacked an LPG tanker carrying out bunkering operations on October 29, around 101 nautical miles west of Point Noir, the Republic of the Congo. IMB Piracy Reporting Center said that pirates in a speedboat chased and fired upon the LPG tanker, causing the ship to trigger emergency bunker stop procedure and cast off. The master employed evasive maneuvers and increased speed, managing to escape the pirates. All crew members are reported to be safe. Pirates boarded a container ship and seized 11 crew members of Nigeria early on October 27. The vessel in question is the MV Pomerania Sky, operated by Germany's Peter Dolish Schifffahrt. The ship's management company and Polish Ministry of Foreign Affairs confirmed the incident, saying that 8 of the kidnapped crew are of Polish nationality. Media reports suggest that 2 Filipinos and 1 Ukrainian are also among the taken seafarers.
Here's innovation from GOIL that takes you further. New GOIL Super Synthetic 5W20 and 5W30 lubes have been expertly crafted with the latest in liquid engineering technology, highly advanced for modern engines, prolongs oil change intervals, save you fuel, clean, protect and enhance engine performance. The way engines work has become complex, and GOIL has innovated to stay ahead. Expertly crafted lubricants that work excellently with all petrol and diesel engines of today. New GOIL Super Synthetic 5W20 and 5W30 lubes. Innovation that takes you further. GOIL. Good energy.
Schedules of vessels in the port, those at anchorage, those expected in the coming week, plus the Bank of Ghana exchange rate next. That's it for this edition of Eye on Port. Thanks to the entire crew, particularly the executive producers, Madam Abena Sewa Opokufosu and Madam Esther Jebidonko. See you next week.